A woman by the name of Margot was doing some shopping in London, England. She was looking through an array of scarves and needed some advice on her purchase. And she looked up at a clerk, and the clerk just stood there almost lifelessly and ignored her. And she felt uncomfortable. And she looked around the store, and everybody just seemed to be frozen still. And she was really uneasy. And then, all of a sudden, everybody came back to life. And the clerk came over and offered to help. She was bewildered. And then she realized what was happening. It was November the 11th. Armistice Day. And in Great Britain at noon, everyone stops for a reverent moment of silence. She was uncomfortable because she didn't know what was happening. But sometimes in life, we can feel like we're a bit out of sync, like we're disconnected with everybody else. And we don't know what's happening or how we fit. An elderly lady had decided that it was time that she started to do some travel in life. She'd made some arrangements, she got her passport, and she was getting her visa. And the official where she was obtaining the visa asked her, "Would you raise your right hand? And would you promise to do all in your power to uphold the Constitution of the United States, both here and abroad?" And she was puzzled, and she said, "All by myself?" We can feel like we have tons of responsibility on our shoulders. And sometimes we can think we're doing it all by ourselves. And so St. Paul gives us a passage today in his first letter to the Corinthians, telling us to take heart. We are connected, and we're not doing it all alone. In those days, some of the Corinthian people were looking down upon others in their community as not very important, or their jobs didn't have quite the prestige. Some of the people felt that they were being asked to do all the work, and other people considered themselves absolved of the responsibility. And so St. Paul teaches them and us that we're all parts of the body of Christ, the church. We're all connected. We're not alone. And we all have an important part to play. And so St. Paul begins by saying, what if the foot were to say to the hand, "Well, I'm not a hand, so I'm exempt from the body"? Or what if the ear should say to the eye, "I'm not an eye, so I'm exempt from the responsibilities of the body"? Paul goes on to say, well, if the body were just an eye, what will we do about hearing? And if the body were only an ear, what would we do about the sense of smell? He goes on to say that all of the parts of our bodies are important, and they work together as a unity. And so do we, as parts of the body of Christ, the church. We all have a part to play, and we need one another. We don't really work as independent agents, even though we think we do. There was an ad in the newspaper one day that said, "Seeking a co-author for a book on self-reliance." Now, that does seem a little silly, doesn't it? But yet, it's true. We need one another. We are connected with one another. I came across a little poem that it's not profound. It's more cute than anything, but it drives home a point. And the poem reads, Dick needs Jane, and Jack needs Jill, and Tom is Jerry's chum. Need we mention Mutt and Jeff, and Tweedles, Dee, and Dum? Sherlock Holmes and Watson were as thick as any thieves. And don't forget that Adam was a bosom friend of Eve's. Like ham and eggs and curds and whey, good friends go well together. There's salt and pepper, fish and chips, and stars and stripes forever. Yes, friendship is a fact of life, from Shreveport to Shanghai. As Orville said to Wilbur, it's the only way to fly. We are all members of the body of Christ. We all have an important part to play, and we need each other. And our need for community is not a weakness, it's a strength. We are members of the body of Christ. We are members of the family of Christ, the church. And community is right at the core of the life of the church. There are things that you can do that I don't know how to do. And I'm sure there are things that I can do that you can't do. What do? We help each other. We take the talents, the opportunities, the graces we've been given, and we share those with each other. The body is composed of many parts, but we live in the unity, the community, the unity of the body of Christ, his family, the church. One author said, God forbid that the President of the United States would end up in the hospital for 2 weeks. But if he did, the United States government would continue on, now wouldn't it? But if all of those people who collected our garbage throughout the United States went on strike for 2 weeks, we would be in deep, deep trouble, now wouldn't we? We're all important in God's eyes, no matter what our age, no matter what our talents, no matter where we live. We're all important, and we have a part to play. We don't do it alone. We are connected. Last month, how many of you thought about the country called Haiti? And now we're all thinking about Haiti. Having suffered 2 earthquakes very recently, and we've seen them. And what do we want to do? We want to help. We're all family. We're all connected. We can all do something. And so this weekend, because we want to help, we'll take up a second collection immediately following the first collection. And that money will be sent to Catholic Relief Services, who will make sure that all of that money gets to help the people in Haiti. In that second collection, you can drop in cash. If you want to write a check, you might just put a little memo there